I'm going to record on this computer. Awesome. All right. And I have an echo. So give me a moment to figure out why I have an echo. Okay, there we go. I think that worked. All right. I think it has an echo because I am on YouTube. So I'm going to pause that and get that going. Does anyone else hear an echo or is it just me? Do you hear an echo, Sifu?
Nope.
That's really weird. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it then.
It's my speaker, Jamie.
Oh, well then get off your speaker, bro.
It's in my headphones. You're hearing my headphones.
I'm hearing your headphones. They're really loud headphones. All right.
You see? That's my headphones.
Wow, that's nuts. Okay, so come say hello to everyone.
There's people?
Yeah, we just started live, so, and you're just babbling. So
what are we doing?
We're doing our webinar. The Enter Shaolin webinar. Yes, we're going to answer your guys' questions and address anything that you want.
Hey, Sifu, how you doing?
Hello. Good morning.
I was just training with Mark.
Yep.
Oh, yeah? How'd it go?
Pretty good.
Good.
Talk.
I'm going to say.
Well, you were about to say something.
Then it left my brain.
Look at this. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It's super bright. All right, so we're gonna get to business, family. So welcome to our Enter Shaolin members Q&A, and we're letting you fans now have a participation and part of it, so you can kind of see the inner workings of Enter Shaolin. If you ever decide you want to become a member, you can go to entershaolin.com/join, because what you are getting here on this webinar is just a small snippet of all the amazing content and training that you could have access to. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to the people we have live on the webinar with us. We have Bob, Caleb, Melanie, Richard, Russell, Sifu Larry, because he's going to be manning the YouTube as well as the Facebook as well, and Terry. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this and you have a question, just put it in the comment section. Sifu Larry will get it over to me or address it if it's something simple that can just be addressed there. And we're going to get to the people that sent in questions, and everyone that is on the webinar with us on Zoom. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A spot so that way it pops up for me. I'll do my best to man the chat section, but that's just for like general chat. So if you have questions, put it in there. If you just want to chat with everyone, make sure it goes to all panelists as well as all participants, and it will go to everyone. If there's, or sorry, panelists and attendees, I said that wrong. And if you just want it to be sent to me, and so I only see it privately, just make sure you go all panelists, and just Sifu Phu and myself will be able to see it. So we're gonna get started, and I hope everyone enjoys.
Remember, all we are is dust in the wind, dude. All right then.
All right then. Mark did say he really loves these webinars, Sifu. He said that he watches all of them from like the beginning to the end. So he says he's really enjoying it. And he's also becoming an Abbott member today. And he might be coming to our seminar. So that is really awesome. So for those of you that have not been following along, maybe you're watching this for the first time, we have a seminar in September in Washington, D.C. on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And we'd love to have you be a part of our seminar, get to meet some of our members, train with some of our fans too, train with us, obviously, and learn and grow. And you can check that out at entershaolin.com/seminar. So Sifu, how's Israel? Anything cool to report?
Nothing. I did 2 seminars and they liked it. They were blown away. They said, as always, it's very good. So all good. Got good.
Business as usual.
Miss home. Miss everybody.
We miss you too. We miss you too. You're gonna be back, well, sort of, kind of soon, huh?
Next week, in 7 days. Which,
yeah,
by the way,
Friday, right?
I can't do Friday webinar.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll be flying.
That's what I was gonna ask you, because I knew you were coming back. I didn't know what time you'd be there, so. And he's flying right now. All right. So Sifu won't be here next Friday. So Sifu Larry, are we going to do the webinar next Friday? Just you and I? No. Okay.
You and I.
Be a webinar next week, but we will restart the week after that. So next week, you guys get a little bit of downtime. You're going to be able to go and watch some of the other webinars maybe you didn't see. Check that out and just enjoy, or just, you know, have fun with your family, whatever you want to do. It's your Friday.
I'll be in the plane.
He'll be in a plane. And we'll be working on your Friday update per usual. So let me see what questions we got. Oh, Melanie says her daughter is now singing because of you. That's awesome. Tell her we said hello. It's nice to have the kiddos and family and all that other stuff here with us. That's so cool. So we have actually a lot of questions. So let's see if we can get to all of these. All right. So Harry says, appreciate your email about the webinar. I got several questions I'd like to ask, some of which may not be quite related to Kung Fu or may seem a bit odd. Hey, it's all good, Harry.
We're odd people, so it works.
A little weird, so it's all good, right? Firstly, the beginning of many of your videos where a written warning is given, there's some very beautiful music that plays, and I'm wondering if you can tell me what that song is and who performs it. That is actually music that we bought from Pond 5, right, Larry?
Yes.
Pond 5, do you remember the name of it? Okay, I'll have to get back to you, Harry. But basically, it's a commercial use stuff that we buy. We have a license to it, so I can't just give it to you or anything like that. But I can give you a link to where to go to buy it. But I don't have it right now, so I will get that after the webinar and get it to you. And if you'd like to purchase it to be able to use for yourself, you may do so. But it is really beautiful, and we actually have a lot of people ask us about that as well. So you're not odd. That's actually a normal question. Also, what does the word Sije mean before your name, and what does that signify? It just means that I'm basically I don't want to say advanced. How would you say it? Not really the advanced student, but like the senior sister here at Enter Shaolin. So that's what that means. One of our Abbott members actually had suggested that I start being called TJ Jamie to signify that I'm more than just a worker here, people. No. But yes, I'm part of the family, and so that was just a way to put that on there and give me that little title on there. So that's what that means. It's actually common in Wing Chun, so if you weren't looking specifically for that, I actually had to dig for it too to find out the exact meaning and all that stuff too. It's just not widely used, I guess, especially here in the United States. Also, he says, I'm very curious. Why does Sifu sometimes journey to Israel to teach? Is he by chance helping train the Israeli army? If so, that's very interesting and curious to me. So
why am I in Israel? I have a student here.
Yes.
I have a student here that pays me to come here, and so I teach him. And yes, we're trying to work into getting the Israeli army. To give you an idea, every time I've taught a special forces, they're always like, what you do is amazing, and if I can arrange it, would you teach the Israeli army? I'm like, yeah, of course. I work with General Tao, who's like one of the most respected generals here, and it's just politics. And it's about just first off, it's about waiting for God's will, and when God allows it, then it'll be great. Otherwise, I'm not in a rush.
There you go. And you should never be in a rush. Let God take control there and ride out the wave. The next question is not a question, but just a comment or observation. I saw a video of one of your very first lessons, which must be from a couple years ago. Then a few days ago, and I think he's actually talking to me in this one. Then a few days ago, I saw what looks like a fairly recent video of you sparring with Sifu Larry. So yeah, okay, he's talking to me. And I must say, I was quite astonished at how far you've come. So the first video, I don't know what video it was that you watched, Harry, but if it was from the beginning, before we actually launched the site, that would have been back in 2014. So that would have been quite a bit ago. So he says he's astonished at how far I've come. So thank you. I appreciate that. You're really getting quite good. I'm still just a baby. So, but thank you.
All the way down from Florida.
I'm still just a baby. I know probably in your own mind you'll say you haven't come that far and have a long way to go. But yeah, from my viewpoint, the difference in the two videos I saw is like night and day. So wonderful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, I still do have a far way to go, as we all do. We're all on this journey at different points, and but I do appreciate all the compliments. So thank you so much. That makes me feel good. All right, so let's see here. That was Harry. Let me see if there's any questions from inside of here. Oh, yes, we do. We have some questions from inside there. So Bob says, Bob Farah, I sent you guys an email but didn't hear back. I want to know where you're physically located and do you have lessons here? Bob, sorry, I did not see that, but I will make sure to follow up with you. Yes, we do. We are located in Williamstown, New Jersey, as well as Glassboro, New Jersey. Sifu Phu does have public classes as well as private classes at his facility in Glassboro. And Sifu Larry also does private lessons here in Williamstown, which is also where we do a lot of the filming for Enter Shaolin. So that's usually where we're at when you see us filming for the site. There is lots of different information about that. So I will email you a class schedule, fees, and all that fun stuff. All right. And Russell White says, how many spots are left for the seminar? Let me go check. I think
3. So you better hurry up and fill it up.
Hold on, let me go check real quick. I want to say 19 for some reason. Oh, and Mark might also be going to the seminar too. He's going to check and stuff. He said he actually had no idea we were doing a seminar. I'm like, you're not paying attention. So hopefully Mark will be there as well. And hopefully he's watching this. You better be there, bro. All right, so let's see. I change the number every time someone signs up. So let me find it on this lovely page. Where is it? All right, there's that. How many people? Oh, 19 spots. So if Mark comes, that will be 18 spots. I know we have a couple other people that have been saving up some money to do it, which I want to talk about real quick. You don't have to save up money. If you know you are coming without a shadow of doubt, PayPal lets me do this really cool thing where when I send the invoice that you can make like small payments of $50, right? And it will deduct from your invoice until it is paid in full. The only thing I need from everyone is that it is paid in full, at least by that Monday before we go. So that way everything is covered and all that good stuff. So if you've been kind of sitting on the fence or saving money, but you want to secure your spot, still go to entershaolin.com/seminar, fill it out, shoot me an email and just say, hey, Jamie, I need to make small payments on it. Is that cool? I'll say, absolutely. Just make sure it's paid by this time. And I'll set up the invoice where you can just make those small payments and you'll see it just slowly deduct whatever amount that you keep paying on it until it hits the balance of 0. So that's a really cool feature that we have to make it super easy for you guys and gals. So 19 as of right now, Russell. All right, so Sifu Larry sent over from YouTube, I believe, Jeremy Gorbia. To become a better Wing Chun practitioner, what would you suggest doing every day to be your very best?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Basically, I focused on techniques in terms of the martial arts. You know, I practice to teach muscle memory to just make sure I'm very refined, very spot on, and do it naturally where I don't think about it at all. Just to give you an idea, I used to practice so many hours every day. I mean, it was so much that when I slept, my hands would just naturally, I could tell when I'm sleeping that that's what I did. It was just like, and it was just, that's just from muscle memory. I did it while I was sleeping. I could feel my body doing it. So, and my mind was focused on it so much that that's how I saw it. That's all I thought of. You know, it's like playing a video game for 10 hours. You close your eyes, you see the video game. I practiced so much that that's all I saw, and that's all my body started to do. So the most important thing is learning to get it down to muscle memory. Proper technique, that is.
Yes, absolutely. Practice, practice, practice. That's how you get good at anything. You know, learn, train, learn from your mistakes, train, learn, train, learn, train. All right, so Sifu is sent over from Krista Solos. I hope I said your name right. What can I do to train my reflexes for defense?
Again, if you want to train reflexes, you need to have a sparring partner, so that way they can randomly punch you, and you can do that in terms of, that's for your reaction, your response time. But in terms of how you intercept, that's technique, you know, because learning self-defense isn't one thing. It's not one key. It's a lot of keys. So, you know, for your own practice, you can practice for muscle memory. For example, I do a lot of like this, and I just teach myself to go like this so I can be right to where I need it. So if someone's punching me, I know naturally how to do that. But in terms of when you need to do that, that's where you need a partner so that they can randomly throw punches at you, and you can learn to read and tell exactly where it's coming from and how to respond with the technique that you practice. Proper technique, that is.
Proper technique. So Bob says, when I think of Israel, I think of Krav Maga being favored by military. How do your methods integrate with that?
Well, what we are about is all about the energy. So, Ngo Dac Na can go into any style because energy is universal. So any style that makes a movement has energy behind it, and so it'll work with any style. It's about, our motto is don't let style define you, let energy refine you. So it doesn't matter. I always tell everybody, a punch is a punch is a punch, a punch, a kick's a kick's a kick. What do you do? A karate punch? What do you do? A boxer's punch? What do you do? A kung fu punch? It doesn't matter. What matters is the how you're doing it. Are you driving from the three proof, or are you throwing your body weight behind it? Obviously, if you're throwing your body weight, then you cannot, if you're weighing 120 pounds, you're not going to be a 250-pound guy from size to size because you just don't have it. The energy principle is what you want to learn to do. You want to learn to magnify your power by creating that right timing, the right timing in your body, the right timing within the connection, the timing between that, all those stuff, learning how to find your root, all these things matter. They're the principles in which we build our martial arts from. Every style has a method in which they want to build from. Boxing has the feet, and then they'll turn the hips and the shoulders in it. I can't answer for every style, but karate, they snap from the wrist and the shoulders. Everybody has their own thing, and the idea is to build on that. And the idea is not just to build, but build and perfect that. So Ngo Dac Na is all about understanding how the energy works behind it and learning how to magnify and optimize what it is you're doing to where you get the most effectiveness with the least amount of effort behind it.
Yes, indeed. So Russell said, real quick, Jamie, don't forget to remind all the people about the deadline to secure their hotel for the discounted price. Thank you for the reminder, brother. I actually got a little bit of an extension. So the deadline was the 21st to get the discount. It is now the 25th. So it is quite a substantial discount, by the way. I think it's like $300 something a night without the discount, but it's $119 a night with our discount. So that's definitely something. If you know you're coming for a fact, make sure you secure your room. They don't charge you up front. You get charged after you do your checkout and everything like that. So they're just gonna ask what card you're gonna use. You can change the card at the hotel if you need to for any reason, but it's just to secure it, that kind of stuff like that. So $119 a night versus $300 some is a big difference. So if you are for a fact coming, you're coming, make sure you go ahead and reserve your room. Okay. All right. Thanks for the reminder, Russell. All right. So Pam says, what kind of exercises would you recommend to improve balance and to help with standing up straight besides the breath inhalation technique?
In terms of balance, I mean, it's physical, but it's also mental awareness. You got to watch, your postures. Whether you're slouching, or are you leaning to walk? Are you rooted? You have to be aware of your what you're doing all the time. I did a video on that about why when we practice a lot and we still find that we go back to bad habits, because you got to watch what your daily things you're doing, like leaning in to get your car keys, that's and you don't realize that, but you do it and you actually have a muscle memory to do it, and so you're not aware that you're not shifting your weight, you're leaning in. So you got to be careful of your everyday activity. Be mindful, just be very mindful of what you're doing. Keep applying to the rules to become a natural habit for you. Like I said, one of the last things I noticed on my tension in my body was when I went to the bath and my shoulders were up. I'm like, oh crap! I learned to let my shoulders down. So I didn't realize, while I was training, but then as I became more sensitive and more in tune with my body, I could feel where my tensions were, and I learned to let it go. So you just got to be mindful of what you're doing and be careful. That you're not just doing it muscle memory, like I'm leaning to get my car keys, I'm reaching to go to get the doorknob, I'm slouching when I'm sitting to do my typing, so posture, just know your postures, keep that'll help you a lot, because balance is all in your head. I tell everybody, if your head's slouching and tilting, your head wobbling, then yeah, your body's going to wobble too. Finding your root is how you're going to keep your connection to the floor, but then stability comes from your head. So all those things you want to keep in mind. Doing all the postures, the Qigong postures and everything, they help because they are alignment of your body. So you want to apply that to your everyday life, not just in doing your Qigong or your martial arts. what we do isn't just something you do, it's something you live. It has to become a part of you. It has to be integrated in everything you do in your life. I tell you, you don't react, you learn to respond. You don't just do anything out of emotion. You're in control of your emotions. The one word we describe best that what we do, if what's our focus, and what to say one word, it's control. That's the one word that describes what Ngo Dac Na is: control. And that's what you want to be mindful of in everything that you do.
Yes, absolutely. Kung Fu and martial arts, and especially Ngo Dac Na, is all about learning how to control yourself, being aware of yourself so you can be a better self. All right, so Richard says, is the most effective punch the vertical punch in a confrontation?
What?
Is the most effective punch the vertical punch? I'm guessing he means the straight punch.
Right.
In a confrontation.
Well, straight punch is very economical and it's very good, but it's not always the answer, because depending on the angle, for example, being very tight, hands aren't really good that way, forearms are better. If you're cutting in an angle, someone's attacking from the side, the situation is going to dictate what the best would be. If I'm coming from the side here, if I parry someone here, I wouldn't want to punch this way. The side palm's the best way after that. So depending on how you start and follow through is going to depend. It's going to lead to where the result will be. So a vertical punch is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the only punch. It's like breaking a board with your fist versus breaking a board with your forearm versus breaking a board with your foot. They can all do it. It just depends. Like, for example, if I'm on an angle on the side, it's hard for me to get an elbow there, but it is easy for me to smash my hand down. If I'm kind of far away out of reach of my hand, then my foot could get it. So it all depends on the situation at that time, what the best strike is. And the best strike is the one that feels most comfortable and natural to you in that moment. Okay? When my students practice, and we'll do a routine, and then they say, okay, well, can I do this? And I go, yeah, you can. It follows along the energy, and that's comfortable in the end. It's just not what we're doing right now. I say it's not wrong. It's just wrong for now. So there's no one punch that says that's the best punch, because it's like, best example, saying the shotgun is the best gun for everything. And it's not. It's not good as a long-range weapon. A machine gun that's very long is not good for close quarter. A lot of machine guns today are made smaller within range, so it can get into close quarter much better. But that gun would not be working as a sniper gun from far away. So everything has its purpose. Everything has, depending on the situation, has a meaning to how you would do it. So that. You can't say one thing is it. Once you're stuck in that one thing, you're going to be fixating. You might go out of your way to try to get it, and if you do, you can get caught and get hurt. So don't ever get fixated on one thing. It's about what the energy dictates in the moment and what's natural to you to respond to that.
Absolutely. And, I think that's the biggest thing. People are always like, well, what's the best this? What's the best that? When you train, you got to remember it's a toolbox. You have a toolbox of training tools. It's just like if you're a dentist, you're any kind of doctor, any kind of construction worker, plumber, whatever the case may be, even an artist, right? We have multiple tools in our toolbox. Even what we do here at Enter Shaolin, to make Enter Shaolin's site, we have multiple tools in our toolbox. So it's not one tool is better necessarily than the other. It's about what tool is right in that moment. And that's something you're going to learn through training, through practicing, and it's just going to become second nature. It's not going to be something that you're going to think about, because obviously, like Sifu says, if you think, you stink, right? So you don't want to be in a fight situation and going, oh my God, which is the best tool to pull out? It's just going to be something that's going to become second nature to you through your practice and your training. So don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. It will just come. Just keep training. So Sifu, Larry sent over from Jeremy Gorbia. Is it better to spar or train with more of a boxer street fighter as opposed to a Wing Chun fighter, just because the average person in the streets won't know Wing Chun for real life situations?
I think it's best to learn all around, because energy can be very different. So it's very good to learn from all kinds of people, because you feel all kinds of energy. Different people move different ways. Different people have different size of body, bigger, smaller, longer, shorter, heavier, lighter. And the way they move. So it's good to know and fight and spar with people from all kinds of different discipline. The goal is you want to be universal, basically. You want to be the one that can adapt, because you're not about specifically moving a certain way. You're about feeling the energy and moving what's natural in that energy. So that's what Ngo Dac Na is. It's about the energy. It's about energy control. It's about learn how to control yourself and learn how to control the energy once you connect to someone on the point. And so everybody's gonna have a different type of punch, different ways. And the goal is, once you understand how to feel energy, it's like learning how to feel music. No matter what music plays, you can move to it because you're not counting the beats, you're not thinking the rhythm, you feel the rhythm. And it's something that you can learn to adapt to. No matter what the music changes into, you know how to feel, and so you can learn how to move into that music. So that's the best thing I can tell you. Don't play, and that's the problem with a lot of systems. They get stuck fighting one style against one style, and so it works there. Let's say the technique works there, but it doesn't work against somebody else because they're not moving the exact same way. They're not approaching the attack from the same angle, or where one might throw their shoulder, the other one puts their whole body weight. So when you try to pop them up, let's say, and you try to push out, it worked because somebody threw their shoulders, but then somebody took a step with the whole body weight. It might not feel the same on the impact, on the energy. And so you need to learn how to feel that energy and know how to control the energy. And for us, we always teach and preach about controlling the point, never the motion. Okay, it doesn't matter how the guy moves, it's how you intercept the point, and then based on the energy you feel and how you connect is how you must learn to control that from the point and not the motion itself, because everybody's motion will be different. But once you connect, that point will be the same, and how you deal with it is through the 3 proof, and then how you move is based on the energy, based on your skill and the energy that you feel and how you can handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit on like the biggest little gold nugget is you want to be able to train with different people, all different shapes and sizes, stronger than you, weaker than you. Because if you're dealing with someone that's weaker than you, it's going to make you have to use your skill instead of force them. Because otherwise you're going to start feeling guilty. Like, oh, I know the only reason I'm pulling this move off is because I'm using my strength. And that's not what you want to do. You want to use your skill. So you definitely want to play hands and practice and spar and train with all kinds of different people, all different backgrounds, because it's just going to make you a much better fighter and a much better martial artist as a whole. So Bob says, great answer on the Krav Maga question. It seems like you have an underlying discipline which derives largely from Tai Chi, whereas Krav Maga is more focused on specific self-defense techniques.
Is that a comment or a question?
It's more like a comment.
Okay, I was like, how am I going to answer that one? I don't hear a question. But yeah, I can say this, that what we're all about is the energy, and we're not confined to styles, because that's just a word. How one moves, that's what matters. Krav Maga is basically MMA. It's a mix of a lot of different martial arts, and they took what Bruce Lee's philosophy was: use what works. And they took what they believed worked very, very well, that would end a situation right away, that would stop a confrontation from getting to the point where you get hurt. So, Krav Maga is a style like basically MMA. It was at the point where this is what works, so let's use it. This is what works, let's use it. This martial arts has this style of technique that works, and that was great, and so on, so on, so on. So we are about the energy behind it. So today, with a lot of people with a lot of styles, they lack energy control. And so what they lack in skill, they make up in strength. So some people, they force their way through, and then when they do that and they teach us someone else who's not as strong, then they find that they have a hard time doing it. And the answer is, oh, you got to move fast, you got to move stronger. Well, you can only move so fast, you can only be so strong. And you got a guy who's twice your strength, you're not going to overpower him. So you got to understand the energy behind it and know how to manipulate energy. I always say that a small rudder on a huge boat is able to move it. And you too, you have to be like a small rudder. You're not trying to force the boat. You're controlling the energy, which is the water that's passing through the boat. And then with that moves the boat. And same thing, you're not trying to move him through the force of it. You're controlling the point, and you steer like horns on a bull. If you turn the horns on a bull, no matter how big the body is, it's going to turn to that point once you turn the neck. And that's basically exactly what we want to teach and preach, how to control energy behind it.
Yes, we do. So Russell White says, Sifu, not a question, but I wanted to share. I haven't trained with my grandmaster in progressive Kempo in a while. He says, so I trained with him for the last 3 classes. which last night was the last time to train with him because he's moving to Oregon. And since I've been training with Enter Shaolin and have been applying Ngo Dac Na into my to my Kung Fu, I could definitely feel the difference last night. And it was also noticed by my grandmaster, which felt good to know that I have progressed. So congratulations, brother. That's awesome.
Congratulations. Very proud. Very glad that you did that. And, you know, your hard work pays off. You can see it.
Absolutely. So Sifu Larry sent over from 31 S-Arm, I guess that's his username. Is Wing Chun a realistic approach for street fighting? Something like a man fighting 10 guys.
I can't answer for everybody, but it's going to depend on your teacher, whether he's going to teach you where it's a straight line and just refuses to accept any other way, or he's an open-minded person. Said, listen, I've used this in the street. I tested it, and this is what I found works. And just remember this, and always remember this. Not every technique that works for one person will work for you, okay? Because your body's different, your structure's different, the way you approach energy is different, the person you fight will be different. The goal is to always practice and feel different energy. That's why it's very good to train with other people from different disciplines, because then you can truly test for yourself. And again, more often than not, it's not the technique that fails you, it's you that fails the technique. Okay, a lot of the techniques in Wing Chun are great. They work great. It's just the people fail because they fail the technique behind it. The way they move the energy behind it, the way they intercept the point behind it, that's what makes them fail. It's not the technique, because one person can succeed in the movement against someone who's really realistic and coming at you, and then another person fail. And then a lot of people will say, oh, I don't move, or it won't work. That won't work, that won't work. It's not because the technique's no good. It's because you didn't do the technique right. Wing Chun can be very effective, okay? And again, it's a matter of perspective. If you use it on the street one day and you beat up a lot of people, let's say in self-defense, great. Then one day you got into another fight with another person, you find that it didn't work. It's not necessarily, like I said, the technique failed you. It's you failed the technique. Maybe you weren't as highly skilled as the other guy. Maybe his strength was more than what you could handle, so you resulted in using strength back rather than learn how to connect and move the energy. You try to fight the energy. All these things, you know, you'd have to, if you had a camera, happen to see it, you can see like, oh yeah, I raised my shoulders there. I saw I was wrong there. That's why it didn't work, or I leaned, or whatever. Everybody has, you know, different ways of moving. But the most important is understanding the rules to what you do and how energies work, and stick to it. Wing Chun can be very effective, but I find that Wing Chun is not as effective on a lot of styles today because they've changed. Wing Chun is a close quarter fighting system. Fighting a boxer doesn't want to stick to you. So, you know, people who are trained just to do chi sao and learn to fight just sticking, it's not going to work against a boxer, because the boxer doesn't want to stick. He wants to stick and move and jab you from a distance, and then move from different angles and hit you from different levels, high, low, around, straight. So people were trying to go forward and stick with him chi sao, and they're like, dude, that won't work. You know, take a boxer and have him fight a wrestler, and the boxer can go to the ground real easy if the wrestler takes him to the ground. And that's what MMA was all about. It's about, you know, understand how to adapt to the different situations and learn how to work with it. And so you have to learn to take what you have and spar with people from different areas and test, because and the most important thing is, don't have someone who willingly lets you do the move. You should have someone fight you and resist you. You know, a lot of my seminars, I take strangers and say, listen, don't let me do it. I'm telling you what I'm going to do now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count to 3. You fight me. You do whatever you can not to let me take you, or do this. And I show them, and it works, because it's not about their strength. It's about learning how to control the energy. And so you should always test yourself with other people and let them go at resistance. Now, if you're a beginner or not intermediate, don't let them go full force, because your skill level may not be able to handle it. And so if you can't handle the energy, you might go back to muscling, and you say, well, it didn't work. Have them do maybe a quarter of his strength resistance. And if you can do that, and you say, yeah, I could feel that, I didn't struggle with it, then say, hey, listen, can you resist me a little harder? And then a little harder until you can get it. Because really it's about learning how to understand how to move the energy under pressure. And if the pressure is higher than what you can learn how to move the energy, you're going to wind up muscling. And then you're going to think that that's your skill. You know, I'm trying, and you don't realize that you actually, instead of going to the point, you actually pulled to the side first, and then you tried to do it. So you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You want to have a good teacher that can help teach you and have you practice with people who aren't cooperative. You know, they're not letting you do the movement. They should actually have a certain resistance. And again, if you're learning, if you're a novice, don't resist at full force. I say in all my videos all the time, let them fight at a certain level that you can handle. And then as you can do it, and you find that you can do it without restraining or without resisting, then have them fight you harder and have them resist you. Have them, and if you can do it full speed, then you understand how to move the energy right, and you learn how to control energy well. But don't have somebody you're sparring with fight with full force, because if you're not that level, then you're not going to be able to handle it. You're going to go right back to using strength and fighting. You gotta have them push you at the level in which you can handle, and have them fight you at resistance. Just like lifting weights. If you're only able to lift 100 pounds, and our goal to get to 500, I'm not going to drop 500 pounds and say, here, bench this. Oh, just keep doing it. You're going to be like, I can't. This thing isn't going to work. You got to go, like, if you go only bench 100, maybe I'll put 105. Get you to push a little bit. And then as you get that, maybe 110, 115, and so on. So our goal is to develop the skill at a certain level that you can handle, have that resistance to meet it. And if you can handle it, then increase the pressure. If it's not, then you got to lighten the pressure and do the move until you can feel, and then have them increase the pressure. Because obviously, as they're starting here and they get to here at the high level, and you're able to do it, that shows you that the size and the strength isn't the factor. It's you actually learn how to control the energy, and that is understanding how to understand how to move it under pressure, and that's our goal. Fighting is about learning how to stop someone from hurting you, or you hurting them before they hurt you, whichever way you want to look at it. And so our goal is, and in the end, I always say this: when you break it down to the nitty-gritty, it doesn't matter what style you do, it doesn't matter what your discipline is. It comes down to what you give, what you can take. That's what it comes down to. When you bear it down to the nitty-gritty, what you give and what you take. If you're hitting somebody and they're just standing there laughing at you, then I'd be afraid of that guy, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy's on something. He's real tough, and I run because I couldn't hurt him. I always say this: imagine if a 280-pound guy, 6'4", says, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to break your face." The average guy can be afraid. You know why? It's not because he can hurt you. That's wrong. It's not because of that. It's because you don't feel you can hurt him. Because if that same guy came up to you and says, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to tear you limb to limb," and I said, here, take the shotgun, and you have that pointed down, are you afraid of the guy anymore? Why? No, obviously no. But why? It's not because his ability to hurt you got changed. It's your ability to hurt him that got changed. And that's what matters. It's about understanding how to damage and learn how to get that damage right. Imagine if your finger goes like this and you poke holes through concrete and it explode. Who would you be afraid of? What person in this world would you be afraid of? He's like, look, I do this, and this whole entire 10-foot thick concrete wall just exploded a million pieces. There's nobody you would be afraid of, and you don't have to have any martial arts. All you do is know is if I touch him with that finger, he's dead. It comes down to that, the power. And then it's like, well, if that's the case, then why do we train? We train to optimize our body's ability to create that power. So you don't want to use strength as your means, because if you're hitting with your strength, then you can do this. If you understand how to control energy and you learn how to move energy and focus that energy, your effort that you did for this, you will get this much power. Well, you can't see that, but you will get that much power for giving the same effort as you did this. And that's why you train. You train to optimize your ability to generate the power. And we learn how to deflect someone's hands. Don't get me wrong. You want to learn deflection so you don't get hit, but you don't deflect so you defend. I deflect so I can hit the point, so I can hurt what I touch. I'm not here to stop him from hitting me. I'm here to hit him as he tries to. He may throw the first punch. I'm going to land the first punch.
Right on. That's what I'm talking about there.
I appreciate it, brother.
So Bob said when you were talking about the feeling the music part earlier, he says he's found that it can be useful to practice Tai Chi form to the beat of music. It seems like something connects and smooths out the coordinated movements. Does that make sense to you guys? And yeah.
Yes. They say music can enter our soul. So yeah, there is a feeling. It connects to our emotion. It connects to our body, and there's a rhythm and
the energy of music.
So yeah, there's an energy that elevates how our feelings are. So you hear seeing people who work on the gym, like they hear rock, bam, bam, that's it, pump it, oh, and then you hear music that are very slow and easy when you're meditating, yoga, everything's so soft. So music does have a play because it affects how our body feels and our emotions. It affects the rhythm, the way the beats are, the way the sound waves are. It affects how our brain receives. All that goes into play. So yeah, music's great. You can do it with, and there are people who argue, so no, you have to be quiet, you have to be empty. Those, if it works for them, great, but it doesn't necessarily have to work for you. So what they say isn't necessarily true, because music can help elevate you. It can help lower your heart rate by hearing lower music. Obviously, if you sit in a rock music, your heart rate will go higher. But if you sit in soft, slow music, meditative music, your heart rate will go down because it brings down your emotion, brings down your brain wave, and brings down music. So music can affect you, and so yeah, having music behind Tai Chi is fine, but I wouldn't play punk rock music behind Tai Chi because it's not that type of flow, unless you do Tai Chi real fast.
That'd be really interesting. I want to see that. And same thing, nature has its own music as well. So if you go by a stream or, somewhere out in the forest where it's really quiet and relaxing, there's just like little birds chirping and things like that, you can also play your Tai Chi to that too. So, I mean, it could be physical music. All of it has energy, and it's about going with that energy. So yeah, if you were doing it to punk rock, you'd probably want to do your Tai Chi really fast, which could be a good workout.
For combat.
Right. So Sifu Larry sent over from Panero, what exercises or stretches can I do to improve my forward high kicks and high side kicks?
None. It's terrible to do. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot of stretching magazines, books out there that are very good. There are people who you can. Mainly, the idea is to put yourself in a stretch every day. I learned in human anatomy, if you stretch your tendons out, they do stay stretched for at least 24 hours before they really want to contract back. So it's about just committing to making sure you stretch. I tell my students before, if you're sitting watching TV, instead of sitting on the couch, sit on the floor, sit in a straddle, and then just sit down with your feet where it's comfortable. Just put a little bit of stretch behind it. And then during commercials, it's a TV show with a commercial, stretch, stretch, stretch. When the show goes back on, enjoy the show. When the commercial comes on, start stretching. And then maybe after 10 minutes, you widen your feet a little bit, and then you just sit in that position. And it's about just being constantly on the stretching. If you just do it every day and you stretch a little bit every day, you will get flexible. If you want to do the front, if you want to do a kick that every day, you can do a stand kicks like this. You may not be able to see me, but you just stand kick like this, then you just do like this. It's one of the great ways it actually stretches out your legs, stretches out your buttocks, and you just want to kick up like that. You can do whatever number you want, 5, 10, actually not 5, but 20, 25, 30, 35, so on. And the same thing going sideways, you kick to the side, you can hold on to a chair, on the wall, whatever it is. But, that's what you want to do. It's consistency of stretching every day that will help you to stretch.
Stretch them legs out. Yes, yes, yes.
I think I just pulled a groin. I'm just kidding. I know I did.
Sifu Larry sent over from Diego. Hi, Sifu. I have a question about Wing Chun, the self-defense mode. Can a Wing Chun practitioner dominate fighters like karate practitioners, boxers, and wrestlers?
That comes down to the person, Wing Chun has the key to do that. It's about your training to be able to do that. The most important thing is I find that people have a problem with today is the close quarter. A lot of Wing Chun schools today, they teach it at a Silentao level, so they're teaching it always out here. Wing Chun is known for its close quarter, the ability to fight in tight, and a lot of schools have lost it. They train this as their main key. It's one of the aspects of Wing Chun, but other aspects of Wing Chun is the tight quarter fighting, and it just kind of got lost somewhere. I can't answer for people. I don't know how people teach, so I'm not going to answer for anyone. But people have lost that close quarter fighting in Wing Chun, and today people are all about the straight line punches, doing this, and this, and they're like this and reaching, and they're losing that mid range to close range. Wing Chun has a capability of handling at close quarter. I think it's lost somewhere. And again, it comes down to your training. And if you find that that's something that you're lacking in your Wing Chun, then go learn judo, jiu-jitsu, what other styles that are wrestling that helps you to feel for close quarter, and then it'll help you to learn how to handle that. A lot of times people are closed-minded, like, grappling's stupid, throwing a hook punch is stupid, so we never train for it because it's dumb. Why would we ever throw a hook punch? A straight line's the fastest. Well, if you never train for it and you fight a guy who does do that, how do you know how to stop it? You've never trained for it. So, you want to be all around. For us, we train for all kinds of punches. We train for grappling, people who grab us high, low, leg, we train to deal with the energy and learn how to understand how the body mechanic works in that situation, how the energy should move in that situation. And again, it comes down to the teacher, how well he teaches you. And then, the final result is how well you're practicing it, but you can only learn what you're taught. So if he's teaching you bad techniques, then you could perfect a bad technique. It doesn't mean that you're good at it. You're good at a bad technique. Doesn't mean it's good. That just comes down to, again, the teacher, the school. And if you're happy with it, then by all means keep practicing it. If you find that it works for you, great. If you find that it doesn't, then expand it. Go to another place that you can find that helps you where the teacher can't help you. If you ask your teacher, how do you handle grappling? When someone takes you down. No, the goal is not to go down. All you have to do is you got to cut and move. Well, how do you handle it when you are in that situation? No, you just have to step. And if you step, you can't grab it. Like, that's not an answer. That's avoidance. That's deflecting. You're telling them, they're basically saying, I don't know, but I can't tell you I don't know. So I'm just going to tell you our goal is just to move so they can't grab you. The goal is not to get grabbed. Like, that's not an answer to how to handle if someone puts you on the ground. So you want somebody who can give you those answers that you need and help you with that. And if they can't, just ask your teacher, say, is it okay that I train with someone else so that can help me? If he's, you always respect your teacher. You should always be considerate. He is teaching you knowledge that you don't know, and he's willing to take his time out for you and help you. And so if he does, give him the respect and say, listen, I would like to learn how to handle on the ground, and I would like to take jiu-jitsu. Is that okay with you? If they're a good teacher, they'll say okay. If they're not, then that must mean that they're trying to hide from that. I don't want to admit my style's inferior, so I don't want to let you know that we can't handle the ground. So I don't want you to learn that, because you might come in and take the teacher to the ground and show him off. That's not what they want. So, and again, I don't answer for any teacher. I'm just saying this is some people, and that's not the kind of teacher you want. You want a teacher that's open-minded, that can help you become better, try not to let you get better than him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sifu, you actually have students that go and train in other styles, and you're like, you always give them your blessing because you're not afraid of them learning and growing because you want them to get better.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. So, Sifu Larry sent over Prince, advanced self-defense green fight tip. Interesting username. It's kind of long. How do you view Bruce Lee's 5 methods of attack? And do you subscribe to the simplified gross motor skills only in situations of conflict?
Well, the idea of any training, okay, is to get it down to muscle memory. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Because if you don't get it down to muscle memory, everything you practice under pressure goes out the window. Okay, so our goal is to train so you can get it to where it's a natural movement for you. Hitting shouldn't be something that you have to try to do. It's just something that naturally does. Moving your hand and your body connection to one side to the other, something you should be doing naturally, not something that you should make the effort to do it. In terms of his 5 attacks, I'm not familiar with which one they are, so I can't answer for that one. I don't know what the approach is that he's saying, but for us, just practice getting it to muscle memory to get it to be natural for you. That's why you want to train. You train so you do it without thinking. You do it so it becomes instinctive for you. It's something that you becomes your soul, not becomes a thought process. Again, if you think, you stink. So we don't want that. We want it to become something you feel, to deal, to make them squeal. That's what we like to say. So it all comes down to train, down to the muscle memory, and getting your fighting instinct up.
Absolutely. So Vladimir says, what would you say is the best way to introduce oneself into Shaolin Kung Fu?
What's the best way to go? Come ready to learn. Empty your mind. Don't come in there with pre-notion of how you should train, trust the teacher that you're learning from. And you have to pick the teacher. Remember, you're picking the teacher. Today, back in the day, you have to beg the teacher. Today, you pay the teacher. So pretty much everyone will accept you if you pay them. And you pick who you want, and you have to be happy with that teacher and believe that he is going to have the good intent to teach you the best he can and teach you to the best of his ability. So Go to schools, find which one you like. Don't just go one time, go a couple times if they allow it, and ask them questions. If they're very upset by answering your questions, they're not a good teacher. They should be there, be patient, should be able to answer your questions. If they're trying to beat around the bush, they're not good teachers for you, okay? Because they're going to be the kind that wants to control you. It's almost like a cult, like you don't answer questions. Like there are people out there who when you ask a question, like, listen, you're not high enough to ask any questions. We tell you when you don't ask it. There are people who do that, and then other people will say like, oh, when your skill level gets higher, then you'll find the answer for yourself. That just tells you right then and there that they don't know. Because when you ask a question, they need to answer. If they're beating around the bush, then they don't know. And they're not going to let you know they don't know. They're just going to give you like, when you become a high level student, you will find the answer for yourself. That's just political kung fu answers, okay? It's not an answer. You want to find a teacher that has the patience enough to sit there and say, listen, this is how it is, this is what we do it, and you understand. And you ask them something, if they start to get frustrated with you, then you don't want a teacher like that. You don't want a teacher who has a problem with you trying to learn. You want to ask a question. You want to gain the knowledge. If they're frustrated with you asking that, then why are you there? I wouldn't be there myself.
Yes, good teachers are sadly rare and few, but they are out there. And if you look, you'll find one. There's one here. Bam! Check that out, just like that. So we have some email questions I want to get to because there were some that got sent in the previous week. So Herbert says, as a junior member, one thing that I have been doing is following the outline of the Ngo Dac Na 101 course. So I have a sense of how to combine Chun and Qigong as I progress throughout the week without waiting for the next week. Awesome. That's good stuff. What if I want to add Wing Chun into the mix? Do you have a recommended path on how to mix that in? For instance, Silam Tao modules after module so-and-so in the Ngo Dac Na 101 course. You can just get started. The 101 course is going to eventually have a 102 and a 103. 102 is where we're going to really start getting into Wing Chun. But if you want to go ahead and get started now, then yes, you would want to start with Silam Tao. That obviously is the first one. So thank you. Sifu Phu Ngo said, great answer. But yeah, it's that simple. You want to start from the beginning and work your way through and progress through that. He also said on the same topic, are there sample routines, solo drill progression, and schedule that I can follow for Wing Chun and Ngo Dac Na? No, there's nothing that's specifically laid out. It's just a matter of working on what you want to work on. Obviously, if you're following the Ngo Dac Na 101 course, you already have a schedule for the Ngo Dac Na part, so you don't have to worry about that. And just the Wing Chun, you would start from Silam Tao and work your way through. You want to add anything to that, Sifu?
Oh, no, you got it. Great answer. I can't add to that.
All right, that was good. All right, so we took care of Herbert. Melanie says, in the past, Jamie and her daughter have dealt with a lot of stressful issues. Yes, sadly so, and I'm actually still dealing with someone right now. Can you tell us what has been most helpful in keeping you balanced and positive? My faith,
the Word of God.
Number one. My faith, taking care of my body as well. The temple, you got to take care of the temple. So making sure that I'm eating healthy, clean, natural foods that God has prescribed us to eat. That is definitely a big part of it. If I try to eat the standard American diet, I am going to be down in the dumps. I'm not going to be feeling good. I'm not going to be looking good. My mindset's not going to be good. It'll just be bad. And then three, my kung fu. If I had to say those, like the main three things, those are the main three things right there. And then just surrounding myself with positive stuff. Obviously, the whole garbage in, garbage out, knowledge in, knowledge out, good stuff in, good stuff out, that all applies. So I'm not going to be listening to negative, depressing music and stuff like that. That's going to bring me down. I'm going to listen to uplifting spiritual music, or music that just has a positive, good, healthy message to it. Same thing with things I watch or read. I'm going to be putting stuff that's going to make me a better version of myself. And doing those things is how I stay stable. My meditation through my Qigong, my Tai Chi, doing this daily challenge has been really amazing. I haven't reported for the past 2 days because I've been going through some stuff with my daughter. So I haven't had the extra time to do that. But I have still done it. So I'm on this is my third week of doing it daily. And that has definitely helped me as well. And also intermittent fasting. which helps control your blood sugar and your hormones and all these different things. Those would be the main things I would say that have helped me the most. And remember to be grateful for all the stuff that is going good in your life. And to be happy about those things and really concentrate them and not worry about the things that you can't do anything about, and concentrate on the stuff that you can do something about. So we did not a webinar, a podcast about some of the stuff. If you go to Enter Shaolin, or sorry, not Enter Shaolin, youtube.com/Enter Shaolin and go to our podcast. We did one about overcoming depression. You can check that out. There's a lot more detailed about that, but that's kind of a roundabout thing. And doing stuff that makes you happy. Like I love playing with my daughter, dancing, just being goofy, having fun. You know, if I go to the beach with, some kids, like with my daughter and her friends, I'm out there playing with them. I'm not just like a spectator watching. You know, remember to be childlike and allow yourself to be creative and have fun. So hope that helps. Do you want to add anything to that, Sifu?
I thought the question was directed towards you.
It was, but you could still add to it. If there's anything that helps you not be stressed out.
Well, for me, everybody needs an outlet. You have to find your outlet. Okay, if you don't have an outlet to let out your frustration, you're gonna bottle it up. You know what it is, right? Video games.
Video games. No, I actually swear by doing cardiovascular exercises.
That too.
Whether it's treadmilling, jogging, jumping rope, biking, anything that gets the heart pumping and gets the blood flowing, it always makes you feel better. So like that's one way to keep you balanced.
Yep, exercise.
Really, is just exercise. I tend to try to exercise more when I'm really feeling down in the dumps.
Yeah, that is definitely something that's helpful.
Like I was saying, everybody needs an outlet.
Yeah.
You have to find the outlet that you can let the pressure out, whether it be, for me, I like video games. Some people movies, some people music, some people they need to talk to someone, you know. You need to have an outlet because balance is about keeping your positive and negative even. So if your negative is higher and you don't have something that you can alleviate the pressure, it's going to explode. And so our goal is to find a way that we can balance that out, and that's an outlet. So if you have a built-up frustration mentally, you need to find a way to let that out. Some people, like I said, go to music, movies, some people read books, whatever. Everybody's different. But you got to find that outlet, and you got to know that, hey, when I'm troubled, I can go to this, I can do this. And if you don't, you know, some people, they drink. Some people drink, some people smoke, and not necessarily that's good. I would say you need a positive outlet.
Positive outlet, yes, positive outlets.
Something that does not bring you down more. You need an outlet that will build you up, not something that will take you down.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, you want something that will build you up with an outlet.
Yeah, the stuff that makes you feel really happy, good, positive about life. And you might have multiple outlets. Like I named just some of my outlets, but it's all positive stuff that's going to add something beneficial into my life and build me further up. So that way, when those crazy situations happen, I'm not depressed for days on end. Maybe I feel a little depressed for a couple hours and then I snap out of it because I remember those things that help me get out of that situation and get back into positive momentum. Because I don't know, for those of you that have dealt with depression or just a lot of stress in your life, if you keep dwelling on those things, more bad stuff is just going to keep coming. Like your thoughts and your words are so important. So if you're just thinking negatively all the time and you're trying to go like, man, why is, seem like nothing I do ever, happens right. And everything always happens bad to me and da-da-da. Well, if you really keep thinking and believing that, you're going to keep generating that bad, crappy stuff. So be careful about what you're thinking and what words are coming out of your mouth, because they're like a sword. You can give life with them and you can cut down life with them. So be careful with that.
Yeah, not only that, but if you're thinking negative through everything, you're going to wind up looking at what everybody else have and what you don't have, and you're going to compare and you're going to be very upset. What you need to do is not look at what people have, but be grateful for what you do have. I grew up not having money. We did not have a lot of money, and we had hand-me-down clothes, and that was the most embarrassing thing to go to school when people were having hand-me-down clothes and everything. But it's humbling. I'm over it now, thank goodness. But it's be grateful for what you have, and you'll find that life is a lot better to live. But if you look at things that other people, I can't believe, I want this, I want that. Why does he have this one? You're thinking negative, your outlook is going to be negative, and you're going to start to act negative. A friend of mine always says, And it's not about people. It's a statement that's true for anything. If you start to hang around trash, people are going to think you're trash. You're going to start to eventually smell like trash, and eventually you become trash. So in your mind, if you think that way too, that's how it's going to be in your life, and it's going to be that way. You can't look at what other people have. You got to look at what you have and be grateful for it, and then you'll be more appreciative of everything in life. Not what's that word? Where just be jealous or be envious of everybody else. And that's not, we are given in life. Some people have a lot, some people have a little, but you know what they say, if you have lemon, what do? Make lemonades, right? So make anything that happens in your life and you can turn it to a positive. And it's all about how your will to do it, and your commitment to keeping it, and your outlook on how it is for you.
Absolutely.
You take it down or build you up.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people have asked me before, like, if you could do things all over again, you know, would you? And sometimes I'm like, well, part of me wants to say yes, because it would have been a heck of a lot easier knowing what I know now, you know, not to be in an abusive marriage for 7 years, not to have to be dealing with my child going through all this stuff, you know, that's coming out of her that she needs to deal with because she's been trying to stuff down her pain instead of dealing with it. Would it be easier? Heck yeah. But if all the stuff that happened to me didn't happen to me, then I wouldn't be able to relate to someone that has been abused. I wouldn't be able to relate to someone who has lost a child and all these different things. And I wouldn't be able to help any of those people because I wouldn't have any idea where they're coming from. So though I went through a lot of pain and I went through a lot of trauma and crazy things, it still has made me a better person, and it's made me be able to help other people. And would I want to change that? Not really, because I love to help people. So it's worth all that pain if I can just help one person be able to get out of their own pain. So Pam says, I love this school. It feels like a family, which is exactly what we want it to feel like for you, a family, because that's what we are. And she says, we have a great CJ that tries to lead by example, as well as our two CFOs. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I really do. And Pam, I don't know if you're coming to our seminar, but I would love to get to meet you and see you. I know you're up in New York. You're not too far away. So hopefully we'll see you soon. And Rick says the Four Noble Truths. Yes. Sifu Larry sent over Sifu from, I'm probably going to butcher this name and I'm sorry in advance, Pichaya. Sifu is dim mak real? If so, is it possible to learn and use it as effectively as Master Zhang Zhen Ling?
Dim mak is real. Okay, it is real. I've seen masters do it. I've seen a video actually of a guy who had an iron shirt. He was taking beatings. People would hit him, bend bars with his body, and he was known as the unstoppable force. And there was a dim mak man who was actually known as the death touch guy. And they did tests. He said no one, and I'm telling you, I told you, I could not stop laughing how much this dim mak guy was just so powerful. It is real. It's physics. It's not something spiritual. You know, it was like, you know, these people today, you know, I can knock a guy out just by going like this. And see, he went down. Like, that's garbage, okay? There's no physical evidence that shows that this person could do this, make a guy drop. Because there's, you know, physics. There has to be energy to connect to the body, disrupt the energy. So you got to, the pressure has to be greater than the organ can withstand, and all that stuff. Dim mak is real, okay? People have get car accidents back in the days before airbags were developed and they didn't wear their seatbelts. They would die of internal injuries from a 40-mile-an-hour crash. Bam! Their chest hits the steering wheel. They died of internal injury. That's real. Physics is, you know, physics. You know, you can't change it. Dim mak is the same thing. There's no, you can still create enough force, enough focus behind that force to create an internal damage. You know, our strikes are what we call piercing strikes. Even though you have a big chest, when we hit, we're like a knife. We're pierced through. It doesn't matter how thick, how big you are, because we're not here to hit against the surface area. We're here to pierce that point and go behind it. So absolutely, it's real. There's no doubt about it. It's 100% real. As water is wet, fire is hot. In terms of learning it, you gotta find another teacher, because I don't know it. I can't answer for how it's done. I can't answer in terms of the techniques behind it. I can say that what we do is somewhat of like a dim mak. It's more based on the piercing strike. It is designed to pierce through the person, damage the lungs, to collapse everything. But dim mak is another art. It's a higher level that I don't know, so I can't say. I never learned it. I would love to have learned it. If I could, I would. But I just never had the opportunity to. So whoever the person you mentioned, if you can meet him, tell him I love to learn from him. So I definitely will tell you Denmark is real.
I totally agree. And just based on what we have seen ourselves with Ngo Dac Na, I mean, there's been times where Sifu Larry has hit me, or even some of our other people that come and train and stuff, and they're like weeks later, you know, and one of them was like a month later, he could still feel it. And that wasn't even full force, you know, or full potential, like, you know, like it was 10% of like his actual skill. So I can only imagine going full force, like, so yeah, so it's got to be real, because with internal striking, you can really injure someone permanently or for a very long time, as that matter. So yeah, it's real, but we don't know it. So you could start with Ngo Dac Na, though. That's a good way to start. And then you can go from there. So Amir says, thank you. Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry. That was not his original question. He was just thanking me for something else. Okay. So Amir says, I'm not a member yet, but would like to become one in the near future. Says, my question is, how do you balance training multiple styles at once? Like if one was doing Tai Chi, Wing Chun with some Chin Na, how would someone really schedule all these different arts in some type of daily, weekly routine? Like one style daily, 20 minutes per style. One, take the Ngo Dac Na 101 course. That will help you understand how to integrate them all, because you're going to have a weekly thing. And then Sifu, what other stuff do you have suggestions for that?
Well, I always tell my students, you can take whatever you want as long as you can handle it. It comes down to your ability. Some people like can take college courses and take like 8 classes and still ace them all. Some people go, listen, 3 is way too much. I think I'm gonna have to cut down to 1. You know, like everybody's different. It depends on your commitment. It depends on your ability to learn and adapt and practice and perfect it. All these factors come into play. But you know, where there's a will, there's a way. If you're willing, you're strong, you're committed to doing it, you can learn it all. And just remember this: in the end, it's all about the energy. Okay, style is just a word. Okay, energy is an energy. It's about learn how to perfect. It's like, again, I'm going to use the same analogy like dancing. Okay, when you know how to dance to music, when it starts to change, you might not be a perfectionist like hip hop to a ballet. Of course you're not, but you have the basis that you can build on. And if you want to, you can learn to build much faster than someone who just started new, because you have a basis to build upon. Same thing, anything that you learn, there's a basis to build upon. And then because you have that, you can always adapt. So a little modification here, a little modification there. You know, some people like say, listen, like Wing Chun is only straight, whereas Tai Chi, you can learn to curve. So, but the way the energy moves behind that, from this, you know, for us, it's a 3-proof, you know, shoulder, elbow, wrist to point. What changes from like a Wing Chun principle to a Tai Chi is, instead of my wrist driving forward, I'm curving my wrist, but I'm still going to use a 3-proof to do it. So the underlying principle is different. And the best analogy I can say is like numbers. You know, 5 + 5 is 10. 2 × 5 is 10. 20 divided by 2 is 10. You know, 15 - 5 is 10. It's still numbers. And whether you add, multiply, divide, subtract, it's still numbers, and there's still a principle that it goes about. And one, like, let's say, division is probably the most complex thing to do, and then multiplication, then subtraction, then adding. For me, that at least. But adding is the easiest, and subtraction is probably the next easiest. Is the harder, then come multiplying, then division. So again, it's still 0 through 9, right? That's all numbers is. It's 0 through 9. And with that, we have everything. Computers are 1s and 0s. And to that, we can create virtual reality worlds. We create computers, we create supercomputers. So it's all just you learn how to find that foundation, build upon that foundation, and what you can handle, what you can't. You have to find for yourself. If learning 2 styles is too hard, then don't worry about it. Focus on the one, build till you can get to a certain level, and then you're good enough. For example, let's say Wing Chun's here, and let's say Tai Chi's here, and Wing Chun's here, okay? And then this is high level, and this is the high level, and then, or mid-level, let's say, and the basic beginner of Tai Chi is here. So when you get to mid-level Wing Chun level, you could probably start to learn the Tai Chi and work together at the same time, because that foundation that you create allows you to build up on any style afterwards, okay? So that would work well for you because of that.
Yeah. And Amir, when you do become a member of Enter Shaolin, we really did our best to take the guesswork out of it. So if you do follow the Ngo Dac Na 101 course, you're going to start learning the basics that you would learn if you were here with us in person for your first year. And then you'll graduate to the 102 and the 103. And at the end of that, you're going to understand how to incorporate all these different styles. So you don't have to stress about it. You don't have to worry about it. And if there's some specific training goals that you want to work on when you become a member, take the orientation with us, and we'll get you set straight, and we'll give you some additional recommendations that you can work on top of the Ngo Dac Na 101 course. So we'll see you soon. All right. So Pootie Perfect says, can people that are taking Taekwondo beat people that are doing Kung Fu?
Of course. Comes down to, let's say a 20-year-old karate guy fights a 5-year-old Kung Fu guy. Of course, the 20-year, if he trained well and right, he's going to win. It's not a matter of that. For me, it's always like this. Let's say you're the best karate guy. Okay, you're the top, you're the best. And you go, well, I'm the best I can be. Well, how am I going to get better? Well, if some Kung Fu can make you better, or whether Jiu-Jitsu can make you better, and say, listen, I can become more well-rounded. Well, I'm a good kicker, but I want to learn how to punch well. Because my kick is great, but my punch is so-so. Then Wing Chun is great because it's a good striking hand art. Or boxing, great. It's a good striking art. So now you can become better. And by becoming better, you can, if you want to be a teacher or if you want to pick up students, you can now pass that experience and the wisdom that you've learned and make it an art that someone else can improve upon and so forth. And that's what we all train to do. We train to perfect what we do, and then the next best thing then is to pass it along. But yeah, of course, a karate guy. I've seen guys who have no martial arts beat guys who are martial arts. So it doesn't mean anything. Again, they're just words.
It's all about the individuals at the end of the day. Like, it trips me out because I think the internet, like, sometimes it's a blessing and sometimes it's a curse, because people are always like, oh, well, look, Wing Chun must suck because that boxer guy just beat up that Wing Chun guy. Well, it has nothing to do with that. These are individuals, and one individual does not represent all of Wing Chun, and one boxer does not represent all of boxing. You know what I mean? It's all about the different individuals. It has really nothing to do with the style, but the individuals.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu has been known to be great, but Jiu-Jitsu got beaten in MMA. So does that mean Jiu-Jitsu is no good? No. It just means that one person practiced and was better than the other person. And the goal is we want to widen her horizon. Horizon or horizon. No, I'm just kidding. Broaden her horizon. I just messed myself up. Broaden her horizon so we can learn to become better. And again, you want to learn to understand the energy, because to me that is the ultimate, because the move is great, but what's behind the move is what you want to do. Absolutely. Learn how to eat fish is great, but learn how to get fish, to learn how to fish is even better. And it's about understanding energy, understanding how to move, because all styles have the same fundamental principle. You need energy to move, and we're about not moving energy, we're about controlling energy. And so that's what you want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, don't worry about the styles and whatever. It just means with one person fought another, that meant that person that won was a better fighter. It's not necessarily because their style was better or whatever. They're just a better fighter. Period. End of story. All right. So that should cover all kinds of debates that are going to come up in the future. I don't want to hear that question again. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it's going to come up again. So we'll cover it if it does. Sifu Larry sent over from Axion. Interest, I guess he's interested in, do you have any breathing techniques that you've been doing that you would recommend? He's personally using the Wim Hof breathing method.
I don't know the Wim Hof. I have no idea what that is.
It's a yoga breathing.
We have videos on our site about breathing, okay? Breathing is very natural, so you got to understand that. So everybody knows how to breathe. But to control the breathing in motion, that's another story. Mm-hmm. We breathe to get air so we can feed our body blood, but it's also how we create pressure in our body to move energy, to withstand forces, and to create forces. So there are lots of Qigong exercises, Ngo exercises, there are aerobics, all that stuff. They are all designed to help feed the body oxygen and get you in a better shape. Whereas the Tai Chi and the Qigong and the Ngo, they're designed to actually slow the heart rate down, so you can maximize your your body's energy with a minimum effort, whereas aerobics is more like pump it up, push the body physically hard. The Qigong and Tai Chi is not to push the body physically hard, but learn how to maximize the energy in the body in that point in time. But yeah, Tai Chi, the Qigong, and the breathing exercise are all great. If you have a good one, anything that causes you to stress, like yeah, that's what they call hard Qigong. That's like aerobics. That's hard Qigong. Then there are styles like that you see it all the time in karate and kung fu. That's hard Qigong. And then you see the people like, and they move like that. That's a soft Qigong. We do soft Qigong, okay? Why don't we do hard? Because we have the core. Our cores are hard Qigong. So we don't need hard Qigong in terms of that type. We kind of do it through the core. But if you're interested in the breathing exercise and how to get in better shape, our website has all that. It's in, what section is it under?
The core training.
The core training. But the Qigong exercises is under the Tai Chi. Yeah. So it's all there.
Qigong is under Qigong. Tai Chi is under Tai Chi.
Visit your site much, Sifu.
Well, I was there just today.
He's just the star. He's the talent. He's the rock star.
I was there today. What are you talking about?
Things. So yeah, core trainings under like as far as working on your reflexes and tendons and all that fun stuff, that's under core training. Qigong is under Qigong, and our Tai Chi is under Tai Chi. And the reason why those are separated is because there's so much under both of those sections. We decided it'd be a lot easier for everyone to be able to have them separated and to be able to find what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's right.
Says, how do you feel about standing meditation practice whereby you use very standing Tai Chi postures to do intense focus on breath and structure? Do you think such practice may translate to practical skills, or do you think the benefits would be limited to those for meditation only?
You're talking about Qigong. That is Qigong, what you're talking about right now. So, it's great. It's hard to do. You have to have build up a discipline to do it, because it requires you to like hold your arm like this for like 20 minutes and breathe and learn how to relax under the pressure. It's kind of like, you ever know what shiatsu massage is? They pry into the muscle. They push and push and push and push into the muscle. It's under a lot of pressure, and it gets to a point where it doesn't fight no more. It just relaxes, and then they can go through it, and they can do the deep tissue massage. Qigong is it's kind of like the same thing. You have to endure that burning, that pain, and you have to learn how to just hold your arm out there to the point where you and it lets go and it relaxes, and that's the point in which you can build up your energy a lot.
Yes. So yeah, it's definitely beneficial.
It's just so hard.
It is hard. Oh my goodness, it is. But it's definitely beneficial. Absolutely, it's beneficial. So Monkey Boy sent over. Actually, it's Marcus, but apparently he's Monkey Boy. So Monkey Boy Marcus. Yeah, there we go. He says, after years of fighting in the Marine Corps, I am having trouble staying relaxed and keeping my shoulders down. Is there anything I can do to help replace this habit?
Yes. Go the opposite way. Tense your shoulders up like this really hard for like 25, 30 seconds. Then it'll drop because you're too tired to hold it up. I'm not kidding. It's true. One of the best ways to get rid of tension, they say, is to create tension, because when your body is under tension, it gets so tired when you're done that it naturally wants to relax. So basically over tense you, so the body can't tense no more, and then it causes you to relax. But there are Qigong exercises that we go back to it, the Tai Chi exercise, all these exercises that we do, the internal styles of the Ngo Dac Na. It is to teach you to do that. It is to get you to do that. The reason why it's in your shoulders, because you don't know how to move somewhere else. So we teach you how to move from there to your wrist. So instead of like being like this, it becomes this. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but instead of being more here like this, you bring it here. You can see how it goes from like my shoulders. I'm holding like this into my hands, and then from there you can see I can now move to my hands. So tense your shoulders so you don't tense no more, but also through the exercise that we have, learn to bring it, because you want to move that energy out to the hands, because the hands, the output, so to speak, that's where you want to get to, the end of the garden hose where you want the water. Otherwise, the pressure builds. Just think of a garden hose that has the spout in the end, but you have to close it and the water's on. There's pressure in the hose. If you open it up, you're allowing the pressure to leave, and that's the kind of same thing. If you don't bring it to your hands, you're holding it in your shoulders. It creates tension, and so it'll wear you down. So you want. Hope that helps.
Yep. And then start practicing that in your daily life. Like when you're driving or any of those stuff, go, okay, are my shoulders up or are they down? And if they're up, bring them down. And over time, working on that. And I'm from personal experience, because I used to have the same problem, lots of extra pressure up here. And some days it's still kind of bad. It's just a matter of making it that remind yourself all the time, if you're sitting down at the office, watching TV, whatever you're doing, walking, are my shoulders down? Are my shoulders down? And eventually over time, you'll just keep your shoulders down. But it's going to take a while, because it sounds like you've been doing that for a hot minute. So be kind to yourself and just keep on working on it. So Donata says, about the Muk Jong or the Mac, he says, if one cannot have it, for example, for space issues or other matters, what's the best simple alternative, if there is, or something that simulates the same training field?
Repeat that again.
Basically, for space issues or money issues or whatever, if someone can't get the Muk Jong or the Mac, what is the best simple alternative, if there is, or something that can simulate the same training?
You can build your own. All you need is something that just gets into these certain angles for you. So you can build out PCP, build wood, put it on a wall, find a tree, it has branches. The idea is you're learning how to hit to the point. That's what you're learning the jong is for. It's to learn how to hit so you can hit to the point. It's not about just bashing into it as hard as you can. If that's the case, go get outside in the tree and just bang it as hard as you can. You know, that's all. But it's about learning to hit the point. So if you can hit, I tell people, I show people, you can do it on the wall. I used to do it on a door before I had a jong. I did it on anything that can make contact to it and just learn how to hit to a point. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the Wing Chun rice trainer, that's a good alternative too. It's pretty small, pretty affordable. But yeah, there's all kinds of alternatives. If you're handy, you can make your own, keep it outside if you can't keep it inside because there's no room. Use a tree, all kinds of good stuff. And we're going to let Sifu go because we've ran over. And whatever questions we didn't get to, we'll make sure that we get to next week. You guys will be first in line. So I'll email everyone that we didn't get to and just let them know I got your email, I got your question, and we'll catch you next time. So thank you everyone for being on.
2 weeks.
Oh, in 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And if it's some of the stuff I can address right now, I'll make sure that it gets done so that way you don't have to wait 2 weeks, family. So we'll get you covered. We'll get you taken care of. Thank you, everyone on Facebook, YouTube, as well as everyone that's live here and everyone that watches the replay. If you love this stuff, give it a like, comment on it, and share it. Share the knowledge.
And don't forget to subscribe.
And make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And if you want to support us more, go to patreon.com/Enter Shaolin and help give us some love so we can do more of these awesome type of things for y'all. So peace. We'll see y'all later. Shabbat shalom over there in Israel. All right. Bye everyone.